Good morning, everyone. My name is Monica Barnes, Alabama Cares Coordinator.
And I'm Camille Jackson, Medicaid Waiver Case Manager Supervisor.
So what I'm going to do is we're going to go ahead and just get started. We're going to tell you about a few of our services that we have. That we offer here. So we have nutrition counseling, we have our senior RX program. If you're in need of medication assistance, doesn't matter the age, you can contact us for our help with that. We have Dementia Friendly Alabama, where we educate families and individuals about the different types of dementias, Alzheimer's. We have our SHIP and SMP, which is Senior Medicare Patrol. If you have any questions about your insurance plans, you can contact our SHIP coordinator. If you have any fraud or complaints, you can contact our SHIP coordinator, who also handles our Senior Medicare Patrol. If you're interested in senior centers, you can contact our Senior Center coordinator, Daisy Bolden. We have free legal for anyone 60 and older. As you can see, that includes your wills, your estate planning, power of attorney. If you do not want to come here, you can also go to Faulkner School of Law. They also have a free legal clinic for seniors as well. If you have any complaints or concerns about individuals within a long-term care facility, such as a nursing home or assisted living home, you can contact our ombudsman. If you have family members, friends, or individuals who are in a nursing home and they want to return home, there's a program called Gateway to the Community that will help transition them home with help within the home in the form of aid, as well as home modifications. And lastly, we have some preventative services that we offer here, such as Jerry Fit, CDSMP, which is chronic disease self-management, as well as Matter of Balance. So these are exercise programs and educational programs. So also just plugging in some ads here. We have a slew of robotic pets here, and they are free. As you can see, there's the picture of a dog, but we also have cats available. So if you are interested in those, you can just give us a call at the phone number listed. Again, they are free. Did I mention they are free? And you can receive a dog or a cat. We also have dementia resource guides available as well. Our next Thursday talks is going to be August the 19th, and we're going to be discussing care for the caregiver. Hope to see you there. So now we can get started. Alabama Cares. Not going to read it to you because I know you guys can read, but just explain to you. Alabama Cares is a temporary and limited program that allows the caregiver to give a break from their caregiving duties. It is temporary and limited. Temporary, meaning caregivers are on the program from year to year. They are assessed every year for continued services. Reason being, we want to be able to provide respite to all caregivers and not just the same ones year to year. We also have another program called the Grandparent Program. And no, you do not have to be a grandparent to be on the program. You have to be an individual 55 and older caring for children up to age 18. The only condition is that the parent cannot live in the home. It does not matter if the older relative / grandparent, if they don't have any custody, they don't have to have legal custody, they just have to actually be raising the child. The eligibility for Alabama Cares is you have to be an unpaid caregiver, 18 and older, caring for an adult 60 and older, or an unpaid caregiver 18 and older, caring for an individual with the Alzheimer's disease or something related. You can also be a parent on the program 55 and older if you're caring for an adult disabled child 19 through 59, ages 19 through 59. The services that the program offers, information such as resources, assistance with the short-term case management, and unskilled respite. Unskilled respite, the program contracts with 7 home health agencies and 2 adult daycares. The workers go in, they help with your ADLs and your IADLs. So that's your eating, dressing, changing, providing companionship. There is some light housekeeping, and emphasis on the word light. If a person is in need of more detailed housekeeping, we have something called Homemaker, and that's our Homemaker program that they can apply for. The program also offers education where we train the caregivers on the diseases that their loved ones has, as well as being just a better caregiver. And the supplemental, that is incontinence supplies and a life alert unit. So the program will cover the cost of the incontinence supplies, such as pads, depends, wipe, gloves, Ensure, Glucerna, and things of that nature. I'm just going to pause right now. Are there any questions about that? Hey, Ann, what you got for me?
Ann, did you have a question?
Okay. You want to unmute yourself?
Now that helped. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yay. Because I couldn't find, I was looking in all my audio settings and it was like, it wouldn't let me do it. How many people qualified for this program, like from your area? Is it so many per year, or is it so many per week or month? And that's
no, it's just whatever the budget allows.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't have a minimum or maximum number.
Okay. And so people just apply to you for these services.
Yes, they will contact we have an ADRC program where they can, they'll call in and ADRC will do the intake over the phone and send a referral, electronic referral to me. And then I'll
And then you assess for all these different parts of this great program, right?
Yes.
What they need. Okay, terrific. Thank you.
Are there any other questions? Okay, moving on. So just a little background about Alabama Cares. The caregiver, and we have the caregiver who's the client, and then there's the care recipient who's the person that they're caring for. They don't have to live in the same home or area. However, they have to live in the state. Because the caregiver is the client, the caregiver has to apply within their county of residence. So if you have someone who is in Huntsville, they will have to apply in Madison County, even though their care recipient may live here in Montgomery. So that is an option. What will happen is the coordinators from both counties will then get together and see who will actually take the case. CARES offers something new. It's called a reimbursement option, where caregivers can privately pay individuals and they are reimbursed a certain amount by a third party. And that third party is Alabama Lifespan Respite, who the program now contracts with. So just break that down again. If the caregivers, most of them are already kind of paying someone, be it a family member or friend, then the program sets a certain amount. And for this presentation, let's say it's at $1,500 for the fiscal year. Then the caregiver is then reimbursed up to $1,500 for the fiscal year. And that amount varies from year to year, again, based on the budget. Really want to stress that we cannot duplicate services from another agency. The example here that I have is that the VA is providing incontinence supplies. Alabama Cares cannot. However, we can provide respite. If hospital is providing incontinence supplies, Alabama Cares cannot, but we can provide respite. If the VA is providing respite, then the program can provide supplies if they are not. So just really want to stress that. With our older relatives and grandparents, they also receive respite and supplemental, but it's a little different. So their respite may be a camp fee. In the past, we've helped children go to mission trips to South America. We've sent them to different camps, be it academic camp or athletic camp. We will pay for, they're going to play baseball, we'll pay for cleats or a bat or whatever they may need. And they stay on the program until the child turns 19. And I just really want to stress that they do not have to have legal custody. That's the great thing about the older relative / grandparent program. They don't have to have legal custody, but the parent cannot live in the home. Are there any questions about that? I can definitely get you a packet together. If you don't mind, if you would send your information to Camille, because I'm logged in on her computer directly, I'll get that to you. Now you can just send your email or your mailing address, whatever's best. Yeah, you want to put it in the chat directly. We'll go ahead and take that. Are there any other questions? Okay, I'm gonna move on here. Oh, thank you. I'm glad you like it. All right, next up is Camille.
All right, I'm going to take over. The Medicaid Waiver Program is basically designed for seniors and those that have disabilities that are living inside of the community. Basically, in order to be approved or to be eligible for this program, they have to meet Medicaid's guidelines because this program is funded through Medicaid. So they have to meet the medical and financial guidelines for Medicaid. Basically, the purpose of this program is to keep seniors and those with disabilities in the community so they can stay in the comfort of their home. The services that we provide is very similar to the CARES program, but we do provide case management, which each client will be assigned a case manager that comes out into their home and do a home visit with them every month to make sure they are happy and satisfied with the services that we are providing. We also provide personal care and homemaker services. These services are provided through home health agencies. We contract with about 12 different home health agencies in the Tri-County area, and they provide these services. So they'll actually send the workers to the client's home to provide those services. The personal care is basically like giving them a bath, getting them dressed, hair and nail care, things like that. And then homemaker services is actually going into the home to do the housekeeper in the home. I do want to stress that, you know, there is some housekeeping that's done, but it's not a maid service, of course, and the service can only be provided to the client. So if the client is living with family, they can only clean the client's bedroom and the bathroom that they're using. They're not allowed to clean the entire house if there are other people living inside of the home. We also offer skilled and unskilled respite. The difference between those, of course, skilled care is if the client has like some type of feeding tube, a trach or something like that, they can provide a nurse to go in to do those services. And then unskilled is more so like if a caregiver needs to run off and do some errands and we need to send a worker into the home to do the homemaker personal care services. We also provide meals to the client's home. They are delivered directly to the client once a week. They're like little TV dinners that they can pop into the microwave or into the oven to make sure that they're getting their meals for the day. And we do provide some transportation. And I say some because it's only to like doctor's appointments. We can send a van to come and pick up the client to make sure they get back and forth to their doctor's appointments. I think we have a question in the chat. Let me see. Oh, no, we don't. Do we have any questions about the services for Med Waiver? So I'm gonna move on. Okay, we do have a fairly new program to our agency that is called Personal Choices. This is a self-directed option for the client because sometimes our clients, you know, are more comfortable with a family member or friend coming in to do the services for them. They can hire a loved one to be the worker for them. So they don't have to worry about like a stranger coming in from an agency to come into their home and do the services. They can provide they can have a daughter or a loved one or someone to come in to do the services. The good thing about Personal Choices is that it's very flexible. So you can whatever times you guys agree to, as long as you don't go over the budgeted amount that the counselor has approved for you guys, that worker can work those hours whenever they choose to. They will be responsible for submitting timesheets, and they will be, which will be transitioning into an electronic version very, very soon. But right now they're still currently using timesheets. So they have to be responsible enough to do those correctly. They'll also be assigned a personal choice counselor that they can communicate with on a regular. They only have to go out and do a visit every 6 months, because they'll still be assigned a case manager through the waiver program to make sure that everything is going well with the services. Okay, Veronica, we can get that information over to you. If you email us, if you put your email address in the chat, we can get that information over to you, Veronica. So one thing about personal choices I do want to let everyone know is that it is not a full-time job. So they cannot expect to get paid, $20 an hour to take care of their mother or their daughter or whoever it may be. It is supplemental income, and it can, of course, help, and it's a great program for those that are already taking care of a loved one to, help with a little income inside of the home, but it is not going to be considered a full-time job. There are taxes taken out. There's W-4s you have to fill out and all of that. So I just want to make that clear that this program is basically employment. Any questions on personal choices? All right, I guess we're gonna move on.
So often people are confused about the programs between Alabama Cares and Medicaid Waiver. So we decided to do a graph to just kind of give you the pros and cons. Well, not pros and cons, but actually just explain it to you. So you can have a caregiver to apply for Alabama Cares, and you can have the care recipient to apply for the other Medicaid waiver programs, such as the Medicaid Waiver and Personal Choices. They cannot receive both. However, they can apply for both. So what most people tend to do is actually they get on Alabama Cares first, and then they're approved with Medicaid Waiver, because Medicaid Waiver is a little bit more extensive and they require a lot more information than Alabama Cares does. And by that time, they basically just transition over. They get a choice, and most of them go ahead and choose Medicaid Waiver, because keep in mind, Alabama Cares is temporary and limited. So you're still being assessed every year. So we just have our graph here asking about income and assets as a factor. So I put an asterisk for no for Cares, because it's actually yes and no. It doesn't matter what your income is. It will not disqualify you. However, it will not necessarily make you a priority. So if you have a person, because Alabama Cares is a needs-based program, if you have a person with $5,000 of income and you have another caregiver who's $800 income, then the $5,000 is not necessarily a priority. The $800 person is. Of course, with Medicaid Waiver, and Camille, if you want to expound on that.
With Medicaid Waiver, like I said before, this program is funded through Medicaid, so we have to go by Medicaid's guidelines. So there are income limitations on this program. Typically, a lot of our clients are approved for Medicaid Waiver, but we have some that are already considered full Medicaid, meaning they already have a full Medicaid insurance. And then we have some that we have to quote unquote deem on. And so that means they have to fill out a Medicaid application and provide additional information to us so we can relay it to Medicaid to make sure they are eligible for Medicaid. So there are some income limits with that program. I think we have a question in the chat, maybe. Oh, thanks. That was Monica's idea with the chart and graph.
And so again, you know, with the unskilled and the skill and incontinence supplies, I think mine is pretty basic, but I know straightforward, but Camille has asterisk by hers.
Yes. So with Medicaid waiver, like I said before, we can provide unskilled respite and skilled respite. I put an asterisk by incontinence supplies because that's on a donation basis. We get donations whenever they're donated, to be honest. They don't come on a regular. So we have been able to buy some recently, but they go pretty quickly. So it just depends on if we have any in-house that we can donate to any clients. But if you have any donations that you want to give to us, we'll gladly make room because we're running out of room.
So yeah, and again, you know, can I get paid with CARES? No, because keep in mind, the caregiver is the client. However, the caregiver can do the reimbursement option and pay their relative, which kind of goes down to that next block.
And with Medicaid waiver, the caregiver cannot be paid unless they get on personal choices. And that's why I have that yes over in the personal choices spot. And I also want to point out that on personal choices, they can, the worker that is assigned to that client, whether it's the daughter, niece, cousin, whoever, they cannot provide skill respite on the clock. Any skill services has to be done off of the clock. So they can get any other services but that skill respite on personal choices. Was there another question?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Didn't come up on it. So there was a question in the chat about Alabama CARES paying for a community respite person one time a week. The great thing with CARES is that the caregiver is a client, but they also make their own schedule. So the program, let's say, and again, for the purpose of this webinar, let's say caregivers got 133 hours for this fiscal year. They arrange for services for those hours the way they want to, be it weekday, weekend, day or night. They arrange for those services. 8 hours at night so they can sleep, that's fine. They arrange for that. When they actually choose the reimbursement option through lifespan respite, again, they make their own schedule. Not only they make their own schedule, they set their own rate. It has to be at least a minimum wage, but they actually set their own rate with that one.
And also to piggyback on that, it's very similar to personal choices as well, because like say, for instance, if a worker is approved for 30 hours a week on personal choices, however they choose to work those 30 hours is totally up to them and the client. So if they want to work 2 hours a day, 4 hours a day, whatever the case may be, weekends, nights, evenings, whatever you guys decide, as long as they do not go over the 30 hours a week.
So are there any questions so far? Just want to remind you all about our next Thursday talks. Oh, and also the Abby has put in our chat the electronic version of the Dementia Resource Guide if you do not want to book, and also our website. So to apply for any of the services, what you'll do is just contact our aging ADRC department at 240, and that is their direct number, 240-4670. Instead of you calling and talking to 7 different people, you actually get one person and they send out all the referrals. So Alicia Coleman is the coordinator of that program. That's her contact information. If you would like to fax it in, you can fax in an intake. All participants are going to receive an intake form and a PowerPoint that would be emailed out to you. Because we cover just the Tri-County area, Otaga, Elmore, and Montgomery counties, these services are offered throughout the state. So if you have persons who are throughout the state and they want these services, if you'll contact 1-800-AGE line, they will put you in contact with the correct county and the AAA in your area. I think we might have had a chat. I'm sorry, we can't pull it up. If you don't mind, would you unmute yourself? Oh, God, let me hear you. Okay, does anyone else have any other questions or concerns? Is that it? Going once, going twice? If you don't want to type it in, you can definitely unmute yourself and ask your questions if you have any. Okay, if there's nothing more.
Yeah, our information is listed at the bottom, so you can reach us at our email addresses or at our telephone, with our telephone number. I hope this was informative. I hope you guys kind of understood the difference between Med Waiver and Alabama Cares. But if you have any questions, you guys know how to reach us. And we'll make sure we get this PowerPoint out to everyone who has put their email address in the chat.
Well, thank you all for participating. Okay, how's this different from gateway services? These are community-based services. The individuals are already in the community. With Gateway, they are in the nursing home and they are transitioning from the nursing home back. So that's their gateway back to the community. And also with Gateway services, the person has to apply with the nursing home social worker. So if you have any person, if they say they want to go home, then that social worker has to initiate the application. You're welcome. Thank you all. And thank you all for listening and for being here today.